everyone. I'm Abby Ashola. This is Urban U. Hi, Ari. How are you?
Hey, Abby. I'm hanging in there. I am Ari Goldberg, and once again, despite our virtual background, we are hosting from home. But we are excited to share with you some of our favorite stories from this past year, 2020, when we weren't always at home.
Yeah, 2020 has been a tumultuous year with tumultuous changes, both good and bad. And as much as this is a serious show, it's also a hopeful show.
So we hope you'll enjoy these segments. Our first story is about a transgender opera singer whose voice changed during transitioning from a soprano to a baritone, and how he used his experience to help other transgender singers. Our own Donna Hanover introduces us now to CUNY PhD candidate Christopher Eckelhoff.
For all these years, I faced the world alone.
As a professional singer and vocal coach, Christopher Eckelhoff brings something extra to the table. He is transgender, and he knows how complicated transitioning is for someone who loves to sing.
For people like me who are assigned female at birth and take testosterone, our vocal folds change, they'll thicken, which causes a voice drop. And with that comes through lots of cracking, like losing your ability to project. So the first year I did not take hormones because I was scared of what was going to happen to my voice. So I lived as male and just sang as a soprano.
In 2016, Chris did go on hormones and had his breasts removed. He says he had to grieve the loss of his soprano voice, but with rest, then lots of patient practice,
I'm singing baritone range right now, and I love it. It feels like me. I loved what I had before, but I really love what I have now.
Chris grew up as a girl in conservative Arkansas, heavily involved in church, but engaging in secret lesbian activity.
And there was an awful hellfire and brimstone sermon after that, and then I was given the option to come back if I went to conversion therapy and fix this.
With all of that misery, Chris still went to college, earning a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees in music. Chris sang professionally, including opera with a company in Germany, and then came the chance to study music at the City University of New York.
Getting accepted at the CUNY Grad Center was one of the best things to happen. I'd always wanted to move to New York City.
Chris also met some transgender people in New York, which opened a new world.
I always had a feeling of being male, but I didn't have words to put to that. When I moved here, I realized I actually was trans, so I went away. During the first year of my PhD here, I went away on spring break as Christina and came back as Christopher. And the music department was incredibly supportive, and they did everything they could to make sure I was welcomed and felt safe.
Chris is also grateful to Metropolitan Community Church, a welcoming place for LGBTQ people. Chris had sung there as a soprano. And after his surgery, it was the first place he performed. Chris started teaching voice to other trans people to help cope with his own transition. How does he help transmasculine singers like himself?
I'll have them sing where they can establish an open throat, and that comes by your larynx dropping. And if you feel right here on yourself, if you yawn, you feel it drop. That's kind of what we're aiming for, like when you inhale, for that to drop, because it opens up so much space. So instead of sounding like,
Chris gets calls to his trans voice studio now from singers all around the world.
Make sure your jaw isn't moving. Okay. Yaw. Keep it all in the same position.
One student is a trans feminine friend, Moshe Moses, a fashion designer who transitioned decades ago.
I think some of my favorite moments on the teaching side is when my students have a breakthrough. Moshe was singing and she hit like a soprano high C, and I was just so thrilled because she never thought that was an option.
What's Chris like as a teacher?
He is marvelous. He is a healer. He is a maestro to me, and grand and perfect in honoring who you are.
Rafaela Anschel transitioned later in life and wanted what many trans feminine students desire.
Where do you feel like your voice is going?
Higher.
He's helping me get there.
Is it helpful that he is trans?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because he has the empathy. He has deep empathy.
At home, Chris has a male partner and feels blessed with the love he's gotten along the way from his mom.
When I told my mother that I was seeing a man now, she said, "So I had a lesbian daughter and now I have a gay son?" And I said yes, and she says, "Okay." It was simple as that.
Good on Mom.
She's pretty wonderful.
As for recent performances, Chris enjoys singing with the Trans Voices Cabaret, started about 3 years ago.
It's just really wonderful to be around other trans singers and performing, because all the performers are really good. Most of them are auditioning for Broadway. With Trans Voices Cabaret, it's just a way to show other people what's possible.
This was the moment, the greatest.
That's not a death sentence as a singer. If you come out as trans, you can still sing.
Oh.
I'm Donna Hanover for Urban U.
Since John Jay College established its Prison to College Pipeline program in 2011, Boz Dreisinger, the program's founder, has done extensive work bringing awareness to mass incarceration. Here's a recent project she conceived with her former students and visual artist Hank Willis Thomas.
This space is a very didactic space. It's a space that is 6 by 9. That is the average measurement of a prison cell.
On the walls of this tight space, centered in the openness of the New York City High Line, are writings, notes, poetry, art, academic papers, thoughtful words written by incarcerated people.
All of this stuff was created in spaces like this, where people are pretty much forgotten. My name is Matthew Wilson, and I'm a curator of Writing on the Wall. The Writing on the Wall is an installation that was created to bring awareness of mass incarceration and also bring awareness of the talents and academic abilities of people who are incarcerated. This is the cover of my graphic novel, Swords of Fortune. I'm a formerly incarcerated person. I did 13.5 years. The whole purpose of the Writing on the Wall is to be able to give a voice to the voiceless. That's the reason why I was in a public space. See, here it is, you can't avoid it. If you're on the High Line, you can't avoid it.
When I was 17 years old, I was arrested and ultimately convicted and sentenced to 18 years. My name is Devon Simmons. I'm one of the curators for the Writing on the Wall installation.
Both Wilson and Simmons are graduates of John Jay's Prison to College Pipeline Initiative, a reentry program that provides inmates and former prisoners with higher education. Through that affiliation, they were tapped to collaborate on this project.
These writings are literally from all around the world. I actually had the honor to go pick up some of them from the UK, South Africa as well. But there's also writing from some of the guys and women that I met in Jamaica. There's writings from Brazil, El Salvador, Chile. When it shows the global crisis that mass incarceration is having on communities all around the world.
11 million. That's the number of people who are in prisons around the world. And though the United States only makes up 5% of the world's population, 20% of the world's incarcerated people are right here.
Mass incarceration is the civil rights issue of our time. In the world, I would say that it's very much the same. Mass incarceration has been used, continues to be used as a system of oppression against the other, whatever that other might be. So it could be Aboriginal people in Australia or in Canada, poor people in Uganda, women in certain contexts, particularly in Southeast Asia. My name is Boz Dreisinger. I'm a professor of English at John Jay. I founded the Prison to College Pipeline program here as well. The idea of prison as a response to crime is really a US invention. Prison privatization and supermax prisons. We built the modern prison system in the early 19th century, modeled after a lot of European ideas that were floating around at the time, and then Ultimately, what happened is that you had various colonial leaders coming to see that the prisons that we built, especially Eastern State Penitentiary in Pennsylvania, which is now a museum. And so you saw the reproduction of these prisons down to the very architecture.
Dreisinger adds that prisons don't work to reform individuals, education does, hence her work with the Prison to College Pipeline program.
What inspired the writing on the wall?
So the writing on the wall started as a collaboration between me and Hank Willis Thomas, the visual artist. This is true of anyone who's taught in a prison. When you teach in prison, you're kind of awash in papers, in letters, in the written word, in a way that you're not so much in the outside world anymore because everything is digital. And so I had all these papers. I didn't want to throw them away. They're valuable. They're kind of, scraps of human lives.
This is a piece called Resiliency by Roland Davis. Am I someone who looks at life for what it is? Someone who can accept the hard facts of reality and still move forward? These are people who are inside, who are locked up. This is our responsibility as a community to find out the reasons why our people are actually being warehoused in spaces like this. Yes, I'm all that and more because I am the embodiment of resiliency.
Abby Ashola for Urban U.
That struggle brings growth. I am someone who understands that growth brings knowledge.
As much as we talk about how great CUNY is, and we do a lot, that's kind of what our show is about, and it very much is, one thing that CUNY's not exactly known for being great at is some national sports powerhouse. And last March, we did a story for March Madness. March Madness, of course, didn't even happen, but CUNY's history in March Madness is a lot deeper than you might think. The rise of and the fall of a very notorious City College basketball team.
It is March Madness. North Carolina, Kansas, Duke, City College. As silly as it sounds, there was a time when City College was the dominant force in college basketball. And then it all fell apart. In 1950, Coach Nat Holman, now in the Basketball Hall of Fame, had a winner. Having a much more diverse team than many of the more segregated colleges of the day, the Beavers starting lineup, featuring 2 black players and 3 Jewish players, steamrolled their way to the championship of both the NIT tournament and the NCAA tournament, along the way beating the likes of Boston College, Princeton, Kentucky, and Ohio State.
The Beavers won the National Invitation Tournament, the National Collegiate, to hit a jackpot unprecedented in basketball.
Nowadays, teams aren't even allowed to compete in both tournaments. So as it stands, the 1950 CCNY Beavers go down in history as the only team to win both titles in the same season, the Grand Slam of college basketball. But the glory was short-lived. It turns out that magical season was beset by gambling, bribes, and the mafia, and not just for City College. Mobsters had been bribing college players, not to lose games necessarily, but to win by less than the bookmakers predicted. And then the gamblers could bet on this more of a sure thing outcome. This scheme is called point shaving, and to this day, the scandal is still widely remembered in popular culture.
He passed during the night. What a blow. He was a great man. My cousin told me it was Carmine who invented point shaving.
CCNY versus Kentucky, 1951. Nobody beat the spread. I bought a black Fleetwood.
And after a police sting the next year, all the dominoes started to fall. When the dust settled, 8 gamblers and fixers and 32 players from 7 colleges were arrested. City College actually didn't even have the most players involved, but as the darlings of the basketball world, their fall was certainly the hardest. In the aftermath, CCNY as a whole de-emphasized athletics and then dropped down to Division III, where we find ourselves today. It's a complicated legacy, that 1950 team. After all, the players weren't losing games on purpose, and certainly all the recruiting scandals and talk of player compensation in college sports today can often seem just as troublesome. Indeed, for all the drama, the 1950 champion team still holds a special place in the hearts of fans. And now, looking back on its 70th anniversary, the last surviving member of the team, Floyd Lane, was honored with a standing ovation during this season's basketball tip-off banquet.
Thank you all very much.
For the record, I'm Ari Goldberg.
When professors Barbara Cassidy and Shauna Trinch of John Jay College of Criminal Justice submitted a syllabus for their new course, Seeing Rape, they were asked to change the name. But that was important to them to keep the name as it is, to break the taboos about talking about rape in the first place. Now, 6 years later, that class is going as strong as ever. Maria Van Mee has that story.
I was very surprised that John Jay provides such a hard class because it's hard to talk about this topic, especially for me. I'm very shy, but now I feel more comfortable talking about rape.
In this unique interdisciplinary class, students learn about rape in academic ways during the first part of the semester and keep a journal. They will then write and stage fictional stories performed by professional actors.
We wanted them to know that as students of criminal justice, it's really important. This is a really important issue that has an impact on all of our lives. And it doesn't seem like people are able to talk about it or deal with it in thoughtful and academic ways.
I've always been interested in sexual violence. I was sexually assaulted as a young person. So my own plays often have to deal with sexual violence in some way.
We read social science, anthropology, psychology, critical legal jurisprudence. We read a lot of plays. We read fiction, memoir, poetry. We also listen to a lot of journalistic accounts. And then we also talk about statutory rape with boys and girls. We talk about rape in the military. I mean, men's chances of being raped, I don't remember the figure right now, but they increase dramatically when they join the military.
First reading we had was A Streetcar Named Desire. And that was a book in the 50s. And you see the toxic masculinity in that generation, and not how much has changed from today. I see guys talk about girls, and sometimes they don't get checked.
Yeah, she cute?
She cute.
Damn, man, well, share the goal. Where's she at? After you hit, I'ma hit next.
Nah, chill, man, chill. Let me shoot my shot real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let me hit it with the Stevie special.
A student might create a play that's not their experience. That's maybe the experience of somebody who's committed rape. But they're trying to access, what's going on in this person's brain, what's happening in the community. And I think that it just allows for a freedom that maybe, writing an academic paper doesn't necessarily allow for.
The play that I wrote was Pineapple Juice, pretty much about a fantasy turned a little bit different about consent.
Please, don't hurt me!
Shut up and take off your clothes.
Oh my God! What are you doing to me?
Stop asking so many questions, bitch!
Matthew!
Sorry. I'm sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. I forgot. It won't happen again. I'm just getting into the heat of the moment. I'm just trying to give you the full fantasy. I'll stop. Won't happen again.
The plays that were presented, in just as many as there was like an obvious antagonist, just as many, they were just like about relationships where something went wrong in the communication.
That kind of hurts. Stop. No, seriously, stop. Babe, stop. Matthew, stop.
They have such wisdom in what they have to say. They have such amazing ways of representing the world from their experiences, from their communities, in their languages and their dialects. And then what happens is the audience is like, wow, it was so real. It creates an audience that wants to hear what's being said, and it resonates with them.
I also want students to take away that they can do something with pain, they could write. I want them to look at rapists as people. I think if we can look at people who rape as human beings, then we could kind of say, what as a culture can we do to change this situation, to help these human beings to become better human beings.
I'm Maria Van Mee for Urban U.
Ryan Black, a professor at Queens College who grew up in Queens and lives in Queens, decided to write a book of poems dedicated to the borough. But the book, titled The Tenant of Fire, is no ordinary love letter to one's hometown.
The still eyes of Malcolm X, stilled by an f-stop and shudder. Winter 1965. Malcolm is leaving a car, gelatin silver print, portrait of a tenant of fire. So the poem that I wrote about Malcolm X is called Hawkman. It's a poem about visiting Malcolm X's house when I was 12 as a child and being leery of that. It was summer. A shy kid, I can go days without lifting my eyes, and then returning as an adult with a much different point of view and with great respect and admiration and a recognition of the importance of this man and of this place.
This place, 2311 97th Street, East Elmhurst, Queens. Once the home of Malcolm X, the same home that was firebombed by unidentified attackers in 1965 as he and his family slept inside. It's an important moment in history, still somewhat preserved right here in Queens.
My name is Ryan Black. I am an assistant professor at Queens College and the author of The Tenant of Fire. The Tenant of Fire, that title is from the poem about Malcolm X, in which I call Malcolm X the Tenant of Fire. Things like the story of Malcolm X living there, or the story of the 64-65 World's Fair that my mother worked at when she was a teenager.
With gentrification snowballing rapidly through the city, Black says his poems interrogate how culture is consumed by the masses.
I see two dominant representations of the borough. One is a dismissal of it as a working class cultural wasteland, and then the other is a fetishized place of remarkable diversity. Places like the New York Times, they'll have their restaurant review. You know, it's always sold as, here's the authentic food. You know, come eat, you know, authentic Korean, authentic Chinese. That's the commodification of cultural diversity that often becomes the way we talk about diversity, rather than, you know, what is the lived experience of it, and, you know, what is the history of it.
Queens' history is one of sheer irony, considering how the borough was planned in the 19th century.
Queens was looked at as a place, particularly in the 19th century, to get away from immigration in Manhattan. It was really designed to be this exclusionary paradise for white Christians. So its cultural diversity is a historic accident.
And diverse it is. According to Axios.com, Queens is the most populous, diverse county in the country, scoring over 70% in diversity. Black, who grew up in Woodside, Queens, formed an understanding of how certain systems exist that don't always work in favor of everyone.
So I grew up in New York playing basketball, and playing basketball in New York City, it's a black world. So I was othered in that world, and I had the experience of being an other, but it was a safe experience. The political party in power right now is a party of white supremacy, and it's led by a man from Queens. And to be white in a place that has so many others, so many people who have been othered, is a very complicated and important position to actually interrogate, rather than to consume culture. I'll never understand the experience of being an African American the same way that I will never understand Malcolm X. It's always going to be unknowable. But what I can do is think about my position in that, my understanding of my own whiteness as a racialized category that was constructed in opposition to blackness and otherness. My grandfather came here from Belfast, the youngest of 5 boys, and built a life in Brooklyn. I think of poetry as a great place to think through and work out these complexities.
Abby Ashola for Urban U.
Last week, my girlfriend said to me, "You never told me you lived across from Malcolm's house." And I said to her, "I thought you already knew."
We're going to leave you with a moving and heartfelt performance. Make sure you check us out on social media.
And that moving and heartfelt performance is from Baruch College's Cameron Hart, who's an audio engineer and student there. He brought the best of his entertainment skills to this COVID-19 crisis when he performed out of his window on the Upper East Side for his neighborhood in honor of the essential workers out there. And he recorded it live on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to share that with you now.
See you next season, and thank you for watching. Bye.
Some folks like to get away, take a holiday from the neighborhood. Hop a flight to Miami Beach or to Hollywood. But I'm taking a Greyhound on that Hudson River line. I'm in a New York state of mind. I've seen all the movie stars and their fancy cars and their limousines now. Been high in the Rockies under the evergreens.